Hello everyone, my name is Teacher Lena and welcome to my channel. I am an ESL online teacher and my channel is all about my experiences as an ESL online teacher. So welcome, and if this is your first time, please subscribe to my channel. I do put out videos each week and sometimes more than one, so go ahead and subscribe so you can see more videos just like this. But in this video today, I would like to talk about the mistakes that I made as a new ESL online teacher. So we all make mistakes, and I still make mistakes all the time. But here are a few mistakes that maybe you can learn from that would help you on your journey as an ESL online teacher. So one of the first things that I learned about was eye contact. Good eye contact for teachers. Because, when you think about it at first, at least I didn't really think about it. I just wanted to see the students. I didn't think about how the students were seeing me so much, like when I was talking with them and where I was looking. I didn't think it really made much of a difference, but I did learn that it feels so much better when someone is looking at you instead of looking down here or to the side all the time. Oh, so how was your day today? You don't really feel like as much like you're connecting, but it feels so much better when someone is actually looking at you. And it is very awkward. It took a while for me to get used to looking at the camera, but I am a lot more used to it now. But it is something that helps your students to feel so much more, comfortable and welcomed, and, like you're really talking with them. So try to practice making that eye contact when you're teaching ESL online. Now, lighting was another thing that I struggled with. That is a really, it's something I would be embarrassed to show from my first videos as a teacher. Like when I see them, I am shocked by how poor my lighting was. But, I didn't know much about teaching online. I did not know, just how good it could possibly be. So my lighting has changed a lot over time. And, many times when people are using light coming from outside, that can work really well, but I didn't have a good window to help provide more light. And let's be honest, most of us are teaching in the wee hours of the morning, so there's no sunlight to help us out. So we really do need to invest in some nice light. I have a light ring that was I was traveling, so I left it upstairs because it was in my suitcase. But it's a really good light to use when you're traveling, and it's also I got it on Amazon. It's about yay big, and you can plug it in as a USB for a USB charger, and that was one of the first lights that I got to help brighten up my atmosphere, because like I said, my lighting was poor, and I had dim lights that were good for my living room, but not good for teaching. So that was one of the best lights that I got at the beginning, and then I've increased since then. So multi-head lights are really good for providing good lighting. I got mine from Target. They have some at Walmart. But since then, I've gotten my children like to buy stuff for me to help me out. So I've gotten some other fancier lights since then. But lighting is so key. Then there's also the smile, when we are online, and some of us, just it goes without saying, smile when you're talking to the kids, and it's not a big deal. But sometimes when you are working in a new classroom with all these buttons and everything to figure out, it's easy to just kind of fall into that serious look, like, okay, what am I doing next, and so you want to avoid that and just try to keep that smile on your face for the children. It helps them to feel more relaxed, and even for adults. And then when they make mistakes, they don't feel like, oh, I made her upset. So if you could think about it, I'm sure you are, but just as much as you can remember, smile as often as possible in your class. Now, you can try to plan and get it all right for every class that you teach. and things still might not go according to plan. So I would say be careful with how you plan, because, many times I would spend gobs of time trying to get the perfect prop, the perfect picture, and, get all these ideas for the perfect class. And then, by the time the class came the next morning, it was a different class that I had not planned for. So what do? Well, okay, I'm not advocating just doing everything off the fly, but you do have to have a little bit of an ability to teach on the fly. You do, because things change. And especially if you want to take classes that are last minute, say last minute bookings, you need to learn how to just prepare. Just have a few props that are standard, like your whiteboard, or some fruit that often goes well with lessons and colors, and but just try to learn to not worry so much about every little detail of the lesson, and try more to just have fun with the student. Focus more on that instead of having every little thing right. And if you have two props per class, for many companies, that's the most that you really need. You just need to try to use more TPR in your explanations and in your presentations, and just don't worry so much about planning, because if you put a lot of time into planning and then the class changes, then you're even more frustrated, and then how is that going to come across in your class? So, and then you could think, wow, I could have had a few more minutes of sleep, maybe. So try to be careful with how much time you put into your planning, and get more comfortable with doing things a little bit on the fly, a little bit. Now, when you are teaching, it is very easy to just talk and talk and talk. And, because you want to explain things, you want to make sure they understand things, and you want them to really get it and remember it. But, obviously the students need to practice. So just be careful and how much time you spend talking to the student, and just waiting for them, to giving them opportunities to say what they want to say. And I will do that still now. I have to be careful, but I will say something and they want to repeat what I have said because they want to practice. Obviously if you ask a question, they're going to answer. But sometimes if I'm just reading something or repeating something, they want to talk. So I have to be careful to make sure they have that opportunity as frequently as possible to talk and to read and to show off the English that they know and practice the English that they're learning. So make sure you're giving them enough time to talk and not teach so much. And then with my schedule, now this was also something that took a while to get down, and it's still a little bit of a tricky thing to handle, but I've gotten a lot better at it. But at the beginning, I was double booking and forgetting about bookings and all these things with my schedule, because it was a little difficult trying to get it just in a way that would work best for me. What worked best for me. And that's because I do work for more than one company, so I have to juggle those companies at the same time. I need to make sure my schedule is full and I'm not just wasting time. So what I have learned to do that works for me is that I just schedule my the different companies on different days or different times of day, so that everyone has their own time. And I just know, like, okay, it's Tuesday, so this is where I need to be. Or it's Tuesday at 5 o'clock, and after 5 o'clock I teach for a certain company, and then earlier I teach for another company. So that helps me to remember things and where I need to be and need to be looking for. And then if those classes don't book for those companies, there are some other companies that I can take short notice bookings or classes with. And it's easier for me to remember those if I add those to my schedule, because I'll see a hole and I'll know, oh, okay, well, I knew I took a class with another company, and I leave notes for myself. I leave alarms for myself so I can remember, oh, I need to be at another company. But I also do something, a grid schedule that is very helpful. This is my copy, and it's hard to see, but it's a grid that has all of my times, and I just write where I need to be for which company. And I'm a little less dependent on that right now because I kind of remember things better, because of the way that I have it scheduled, mostly just block scheduling. But, occasionally I'll go back to this if things get a little more confusing than, or too hard for me to remember. I'll go back to that. But that was a good way for me to get started and get everything organized and to see what am I doing with my schedule. So, I actually am going to offer that for you in the description box if you want to have a copy of that. And I plan on putting more resources on my website. I do have a website now with the companies that I work for and with other things too that I'm building up. So if you want to visit it, it's at TeacherLena.com. You can come for a visit and see what I'm creating and working on. And I also have a Facebook page, and if you want to connect with me that way, and you can always send me an email if you do have questions. And if you're interested in any of the companies that I work for, I'd be happy to help you with any questions and details about the companies that I work for. So yeah, those are some of the mistakes that I made as a new teacher. We are going to make mistakes, but hopefully we can learn from other people's, and so we make less of them. So thanks for watching today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.